Hi, everyone. This is Sydney from Edia. I have the pleasure to be joined by Dr. Curtis Cain, Superintendent of Rockwood Schools today. How are you today, Dr. Cain?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. It is such a pleasure to have you here. I want to thank you again for giving us the time. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and hop into some questions.
That's fantastic.
Perfect. So I'm curious, growing up, what kind of student were you, and how do you think your teachers would have described you?
Very serious. I would say that as I'm reflecting upon, I can literally visualize some report cards. He was a pleasure to have in class. I was always a very, very serious, very focused student.
Absolutely. I'm imagining you being 12 years old in a suit, ready to go. And did you always know that you wanted to pursue education and be a superintendent, or was that something that you realized later on in life?
So education came to me. Actually, this will show my age, but there was a movie in the 80s called Top Gun.
Oh,
And
yep.
everybody wanted to fly at that time, a F-14. It's interesting. They want you to actually have much better eyesight than I do to land at that time
Right.
a $30 million aircraft. But, I had a number of interests that I had, but working with children was always a very, very natural fit for me. And so I also love social studies. So there's a combination of the two, and that's ultimately how I landed on social science education and how I started my educational career. But it's that aha moment when a student goes from this gray, I think I understand, but I'm not sure
Yes.
I do, to they do understand. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that on the planet. And it is absolutely a draw to being an educator. This is a calling. This work is more than just an interest. It has to be a calling if you're going to do it well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can tell that you're passionate about what you do, and out of all the years that you've been in this industry of education, do you have a memory of a proud moment with a student or something that sticks out to you after all these years?
That's a great question.
I'm sure you're shuffling through thousands in your head at this very moment.
So I actually have on LinkedIn been able to connect with a student that he was near and dear. I saw a lot of
Oh,
myself in him when he was a student of mine, and it's interesting watching him trying to interact. It was Mr. Cain at that time. Is it Dr. Cain now? Or no, you can call me Curtis. No, I can't call you Curtis. It's fun, but I'll just go by his first name, John. John was a very, very special young man, and I'm proud of the man that he's
oh,
become.
that is so cool.
That's professionally. Personally, to be on the stage as our daughter graduated from high school, to give her diploma. As a father, my memory immediately went back to literally walking her into her first day of kindergarten, and then to be there at the very
Oh,
end. Those two images are clearly kind of framed in my brain right now.
those are so special. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's the coolest thing about this age that we're in is we're able to follow where students end up in real time and be able to connect with them and see the real impact of your leadership and where they've gone. So that's absolutely amazing. And just out of curiosity, can you tell me kind of how you got started in education and what your first role was?
So my mother was a home ec teacher. I come from a family of educators, lots of aunts, uncles, cousins, and so it was always a source of conversation, not only in the home in terms of the nuclear family with my mother, father, and my brother, but extended family as well. It just became a natural part of our vernacular, almost the flow of how we engaged and really discussed and connected as a family. And so it just naturally led to me ultimately becoming a social studies teacher,
Mhm.
and then literally the rest is history. But it
The
has
rest
been
is history.
the rest is history. Pardon the pun. It has been a distinct pleasure to work with students, waking up every day trying to figure out what is it that we
Yes.
can do that's in the best interest of all kids.
Well, I know that the children you serve are sincerely lucky to have you. And going off of that, in 2022, you actually won Superintendent of the Year in Missouri, which congratulations and kudos. I absolutely believe that you deserved it. And maybe you could just tell us what that was like.
So superintendents don't like to be surprised.
Right? You want to have everything down to a plan, right?
We like to have an idea of what's going to happen, when, where, and specifically why it's happening. So obviously I knew that my name had been submitted, but I didn't know until an introduction was being read um, that it was actually me that actually won that. And so it's also very interesting to be here because 2 years ago I was honored to be named the National Superintendent of the Year in 2022 as well. And so,
Oh my
in
goodness. Was
both
that at this
cases, that was
conference?
at this conference. We
Wow,
were in Nashville at the time,
amazing.
yes. So it makes you come full circle. You think of all the trials and tribulations that we're all going through, but just how we collectively support each other, keep the main thing, which is what's in the best interest of students, but make sure that we're taking care of each other and that we're good to each other, that we are displaying the behavior that we ultimately want to see our staff and students, our whole community engage in. When you keep it about others and you keep them the main thing, it's easy to stay energized and engaged in this work.
I absolutely love that. It goes back to, again, what I think most of our mothers told us growing up: treat other people how you want to be treated. And I can tell that you absolutely embody that. And just in your time as a superintendent, is there any advice that you would give to someone who might be watching who admires you, admires your work, and wants to be a leader in education as well? What would you tell them?
You have to have a North Star. There's so many spheres of influence that will guide and impact, in some cases derail the work that you're engaging in. You have to have a North Star. For me, it is, and it will always be about what's in the best interest of kids, right?
Yes.
And we need to be able to take care of each other as well. This is greater than a conversation about pandemic. You know, none of us get this right 100% of the time every single day. How do we learn forward? How do we move forward? How do we continue to progress? Regardless of your role, we're all a part of the team. I strongly believe in team. But how do we keep it moving together? Because when we do that and do it collectively, that's when we're best meeting the needs of kids.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And as you reflect on your time in Rockwood so far, what are you most proud of?
I will tell you, it's been an amazing move. Not a small shift by any stretch of the imagination, but
Right.
it's been an amazing move. I would say year one, I really worked on trying to understand all of the nuances, the nooks and the crannies of the school district. We just passed a ballot item in November that gives us some direction and some clarity of what we're going to be doing as it relates to capital improvement projects in our school district. It's been a while since the district's actually had the ability to do this in as proactive a manner as we're going to be able to engage in. You learn a lot about a community when you put something on the ballot. It's a tremendous statement of what our community thinks about the work that's happening in the Rockwood School District. And so I'm honored to be a part of it each and every single day.
That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. And looking forward, what excites you the most about the future of education in Rockwood? What's on your mind and what gets you excited about it?
So it's a never ending quest. There will always be space, room for us to actually improve. There's always going to be that opportunity. What excites me the most, at least in the short term, is our work on our comprehensive school improvement plan, which is our strategic plan. We're nearing the end of one and beginning to look at the advent of the next one, and it's going to help set the stage and provide the frame for what we're going to be doing as a school district moving forward to meet the needs of students and make sure that we're preparing them for their future, not necessarily our present. It also allows us the opportunity to engage with our stakeholders, not just those that
Yes.
have children that are come from their respective homes, people that have been in our district, in our community for decades.
Right.
In some cases, well over 2 decades, right? But they love Rockwood, they love the community, and that's why they are still there. We need to find a way to collectively inform and engage with all facets, all corners of our community. I think the more we do that, the more you're going to see this momentum and inertia behind what we're doing as a school district. I think the future is very, very bright, and I'm excited about how we're going to do it as a community.
I'm really excited to see the future as well, and I'll definitely be watching along. And I just wanted to say again, Dr. Cain, we really admire all the work that you've done and just what an amazing leader you are in education. And we thank you for this time and for you being here. And do you have any parting words to end off the interview?
Just what we're doing as educational institutions, public schools is worth public schools are worth the fight. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of energy. There's always space and room for improvement, but there isn't a single other country on this planet that engages in educating huge swaths of its populace in the way that we do. And again, there will always be a space for us to improve. Strongly believe in continuous improvement, but the philosophy and really the principle behind public education is one that's not only worth celebrating, is one worth fighting for. And I consider it an honor to do so.
What an excellent way to end off the interview. Thank you so much, Dr. Cain.
My
And
pleasure.
I just wanted to thank you again for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you too.